the best phone money can buy you in the Android world. Are there more expensive phones? Sure. Are there phones with better performance or battery life? Definitely. Are there larger display phones? Even Samsung has one, the Fold. But as an overall package, it's hard to beat the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Here's the detailed review of Android flagship and everything you need to know if you're considering getting one. Let's start with the unboxing. It's a very minimal package in a push towards environment-friendly packaging. There is no plastic wrap. The box is very slim and made out of recyclable materials. There is the phone itself, minimum paperwork, a USB-C cable and a SIM ejection tool. No charger in the box. The phone starts at $1,200 for 256GB storage. You can also get 512GB or 1TB variant. The storage is non-expandable, so think ahead before you choose one. It comes in 4 colors: green, which I have today, phantom black, lavender and cream. You can also get it in 4 other colors if you're buying from the Samsung website directly. Let's start with the design. The Samsung S23 Ultra feels very premium in the hand. It's made of armor aluminum frame and feels very sturdy. The back is made of frosted glass, so fewer fingerprints than a glossy back phone. It's also made of Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which should be durable against drops and scratches. The back also has an array of camera modules. It protrudes out noticeably from the glass. There are metal rings surrounding the lenses, making it feel very premium. The front is also made of Gorilla Glass Victus 2, and the display is a 6.8-inch AMOLED screen with 500 pixels per inch. This phone feels very big in the hand. The iPhone Pro Max is a 6.7-inch screen, but the S23 Ultra feels even bigger because of the boxier design. On the other side, there is a volume button and power button. On the bottom, there is a USB-C port, speaker grill, and the Galaxy S Pen tucked in on the corner. We'll get to the S Pen later. Overall, I love the design. It's big, bold, durable, and very premium. Samsung's displays are one of the best in the market, and this phone is no exception. The screen is big, vibrant, sharp, responsive, bright, and everything that you would expect from a $1,200 phone. Out of the box, the screen resolution is set to a lower value, so make sure to max it out when you configure the device first. Peak brightness is up to 1750 nits. This is in the outdoor sun. In high brightness and HDR mode, you can get a max of 1200 nits. It's also a 120Hz high refresh rate screen that dynamically changes depending on the content. HDR and even SDR content looks great. Text is super sharp, UI is contrasty, and overall a great display. I have 2 small disappointments though. One, in some scenarios when I'm scrolling and when the scrolling slows down towards the end, I notice some stuttering. And second, the scrolling of menus is too fast. When you swipe something up, the contents just fly away so quickly. It's much more user-friendly on the iPhone, but these can be fixed using a software update. How's the performance? The S23 Ultra comes with a flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, and it's also slightly overclocked for S23 Ultra. The chip is already very powerful and very efficient. With overclocking, there is no lag in any workload. Games, heavy applications like Lightroom, and even everyday applications feel very fast and responsive. The 12GB RAM also makes everything fly. The Snapdragon chip is not just powerful, but it's also very efficient. This helps with the battery life as well. The storage on the S23 Ultra is a next-gen UFS 4.0 storage. This is a very fast drive, over twice as fast as previous gen drives. This also helps loading large applications from the drives to be much faster. With a fast processor, fast RAM, fast storage, there is no lack in performance in any category. This thing is just crazy powerful. Next, camera. This is a big category because bulk of changes Samsung worked on the S23 are in the camera department. To begin with, the primary camera on the S23 Ultra is a 200 megapixel sensor. Even the camera I'm recording now has less than 1/4 of that resolution. So, is the 200 megapixel camera any good? Here are some photos for you to decide. There is a lot of details in the shots. The photos are very contrasty, great dynamic range, and vibrant colors. I can immediately tell the difference comparing my 3-year-old iPhone Pro Max. By default, the S23 Ultra will capture only 12 megapixel photos. That's because Samsung is clubbing the 16 pixels into 1 pixel for gathering more light, and so 200 megapixel eventually becomes 12.5 megapixel photo. This will be very useful for low light photos and to keep your file size manageable. You also have the option to take 50 megapixel photos, which will club 4 pixels into 1. One thing I noticed was there is a considerable lag while clicking the shutter button and when the photo is actually taken. This is because processing 200 megapixel photo takes long time, so you cannot take a burst of photos. Even after taking the photo, there is noticeable time before the fully processed photo is viewable. The ultra-wide is a 12 megapixel camera with a 0.6x zoom. The photos from the ultra-wide are very good too. This camera is used for super steady video like the iPhones and can also shoot macro photos. Here are some examples taken from the ultra-wide. There are two additional zoom lenses. First is a 3x telephoto 10 megapixel camera. This is used for regular portrait photos. Images are sharp and the portrait mode is able to cleanly isolate the subjects than a lot of phones. The second telephoto is a 10x optical periscope camera. Zooming beyond 3x is where the S23 Ultra takes a lead over the iPhone, because beyond 3x the iPhone can only digitally zoom. The S23 Ultra can zoom optically up to 10x for great quality. You can see the shots here where the S23 Ultra took cleaner shots overall. The S23 Ultra can take 100x digital zoom photos. The 100x zoom photos are overly processed and cannot be used for social media or sharing. But if you just want to zoom and see some text or object, you can. But a phone being capable of 100x zoom is just incredible. The selfie camera also got an upgrade. It's now a 12 megapixel camera and takes great selfies. The dynamic range on this sensor is also great. It does a lot of processing, but the sensor is really capable one. The S23 Ultra's video capabilities are also really great. The primary camera can record 8K videos at 30 FPS without a huge crop, or even 4K video at 60 FPS. Here are a few sample 8K and 4K 60 videos from the primary camera. The videos look sharp, detailed, good colors and good dynamic range. These videos are really close to the iPhone's video quality, but not there yet. Low light videos are also good. A big change to this year's model is the optical image stabilization (OIS) has also improved over 2x, meaning the sensor can stabilize handshakes much better than last year. There are so many more options Samsung has provided in terms of cameras, like the Astro mode, Super Steady mode, Expert RAW capture, etc. Let me know in the comments if you would like to know more about any of these camera modes. Overall, how's the camera? There are two aspects of this camera, the objective one and the subjective one. The objective one is how crisp, sharp and detailed the photos are, how clean the images are in every lighting conditions, how many different options phone gives you while taking photos, etc. In those aspects, the S23 Ultra camera is amazing. In fact, the best in the market right now. That includes even the iPhone cameras. In terms of the subjective aspect, which is how accurate the colors are, how much do I like the image processing, how do I like the skin tones, how is the overall feel of the photo, etc. I personally prefer the iPhone camera. S23 Ultra photos are too contrasty, over-processed, colors are too saturated and feels artificial, especially with human subjects. I prefer the look of iPhone photos even though the details are less. But like I said, this is subjective and some people may prefer the saturated and contrasty look. So take it with a grain of salt. One thing which immediately surprised me was the speaker on the S23 Ultra. They go up to a decent volume and even at the highest volume, the audio is clean without distortion. It's full with decent bass. Here's a comparison with the iPhone 12 Pro Max speakers. The S23 Ultra has a larger 5000 mAh battery. I've had 2 days of average use and still the battery has not died out yet. The processor is also efficient, which helps the battery life. I think you'll be very happy with respect to the battery life on this one. It has a 45 watt wired charging, but the charger does not come in the box, so you will have to pick the right one elsewhere. It also has 15 watts wireless charging and reverse wireless charging capability. Other features of the S23 Ultra include Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3 and a large fingerprint scanner, which is reasonably fast. The included S Pen can be helpful to take screenshots, remotely trigger the camera for selfies or group shots, and take some notes. But I have to tell you, typing a note feels much faster and organized than a handwritten note from the S Pen. I don't feel much use for the S Pen, but at least it comes neatly tucked in and not a separate buy. I would rather have gotten a charger in the box versus an S Pen. Okay, how's the S23 Ultra update? There are two major updates to this year's phone if you want to condense it. First, the newer and faster processor. processor. Second, to the camera. But the processor upgrades are more important in my opinion. It's the chip that enables a lot of other features like 8K videos, Wi-Fi 7, faster RAM, etc. Meaning, even if there is a 200 megapixel camera with LPDDR5X RAM, if your chip doesn't support it, you cannot make use of it. In that way, a lot of S23 Ultra's features are unlocked by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip. If you want the best Android phone right now, the S23 Ultra will undeniably be the king of the category. But is the S23 Ultra better than the iPhone 14 Pro? Not yet. But it's very close and the competition is stiff. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one. This is Anjana. Bye-bye.